Can you keep a secret? Most people think they can, but they can't. People are terrible at keeping secrets. But I have made it my personal policy to be an excellent secret keeper. If you tell me something in confidence, I will take it to my grave. My brain is like Fort Knox. If I were an app, I'd be Whisper. If I were a constitutional amendment, I'd be the Fifth. If I were a person in your life, I'd be your defense attorney. I can be trusted. And it's a good thing, too, because I've always been the sort of person that people want to tell things. I don't really know why. Virtual strangers will confide in me, and they have no way of knowing that I can keep a secret like nobody's business. I'll be sitting in a waiting room, and the person next to me will strike up a conversation, and inevitably, they'll end up saying one of the following. I can't believe I'm telling you this. Just between us, I've never told anyone this before. You've got a kind face. I feel like I can tell you anything. It's not that hard to keep secrets, really. Most people's secrets aren't important to anyone but them. What does it matter to me if a stranger at the dentist wants to tell me that she has an unpaid speeding ticket in Indiana? It also helps that my job puts me in contact with a lot of people I'll never see again. If my patients want to tell their nurse, that's me, a secret or two while they're at their most vulnerable, I can't really blame them. I see a lot of people at their worst. That's sort of a given in the hospital. Nobody goes to the hospital when they're feeling 100%. But since I started on-demand IV infusions, I've gained a new perspective on people at their worst. It's entirely possible my patients make excellent decisions on other occasions, but I wouldn't know. It's my job to be on the bad decision cleanup crew. It involves a lot of underwear, a lot of bodily fluids and unpleasant smells, and a lot of old pizza. My current assignment was about the most classic example I could have imagined. It was a group booking at a hotel. Sunday morning, status, post-bachelor party. Some of them had the decency to get dressed, but like always, there were a few guys in their underwear. The ubiquitous congealing pizza boxes tossed in a corner of the room, and a distinct sour smell emanating from the bathroom. I already had 3 of them hooked up. The groom was proving to be a bit of a baby about the whole thing. I hate needles, he said as he jerked his hand away for the 3rd time. You don't have to do this, I said, trying to sound more patient than I felt. The guy had a tattoo of a tiger on his forearm. It actually covered the entire area where I'd looked for a vein. It never failed to astound me how people with multiple tattoos claimed to be afraid of needles when it came to getting a little blood drawn or an IV started. Dude, trust me, said one of the guys who was already hooked up. You want this. My hand is tingling, he said. No, really? I felt like saying. You've got a giant rubber band cutting off your circulation. I'll take the tourniquet off as soon as your IV is in place. If you hold still, it'll just be another second. Quit being a pussy, one of the other guys said firmly. He was next in line, and I could tell from the greenish hue of his face that he was epically hungover. The groom-to-be finally squeezed his eyes shut and said, Do it, through his teeth. I slid the safety needle easily into his large vein and pressed my thumb in to cut off blood flow as I retracted the needle. After that, it was all automatic. Take off the tourniquet, attach the primed tubing, and put a few pieces of tape in place to hold the line while he got his liter of liquid relief. Done, I announced. That's it? The groom asked, opening his eyes. Yep. I kept my tone cheerful, even though I wanted to say, I told you so, you giant baby. That was quick, he said. Now just relax and let the infusion flow. You'll be feeling better in no time. I smiled. Who's next? By the time I finished hooking up the last guy, it was time to go back and disconnect the first. It was always like that with the parties. No time for the usual chit-chat. My one-on-one patients tended to talk a bit, more and more as the fluids kicked in and they started to feel better. That was when I heard a lot of their secrets. But the parties weren't like that.